I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago.
Y'all, and welcome to my channel and the next chapter of Adventura the Bus. I am just so excited about this chapter. It's lights, shelves, and action. And this is a journey of both legacy and it is a journey of new beginnings. We get to say goodbye to some things that we don't have to look at anymore. Namely, I don't have to look at a lot of rust anymore, but I'm also saying goodbye to some very dear family members in this episode. I had to take a short trip up to New Jersey with my mom, and we took some time off to go to New Jersey and say goodbye to my uncle, who was 90 years old and very sick with cancer. My mom got an opportunity to be with him on her birthday, and it was a very precious day. And she turned 84 on that trip, and we celebrated her in a very special way. But unfortunately, it was just me and her, and so we made the day special. And we got to have a lot of beautiful things happen on that day, and we were very blessed to go on this trip. But also, Adventura has been on a trip of her own. She got brand new lights on the top of her cab, and she got a new shelf. And I invite you to come along the journey as I say goodbye to a dear uncle, and we say hello to some new things on Adventura the Bus. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoy the journey. So this video gets to start with a gift of legacy from my sister. It is a ring that was given to me by my sister. She has a ring that's almost identical to it. It just has 3 stones instead of 4. And they were made from rings that were from my grandmother, my dad's mother, and my mom. And it is a beautiful gift to start out this particular section of this journey, because this first portion of my video is all about legacy. My mom's brother, passed away about a couple weeks ago. And before he passed away, I went on a trip with my mom. And so you're going to see that trip with my mom. But before I left, my sister gave me this beautiful gift, and I just wanted to show it off to y'all. It's a beautiful ring, and I wore it the whole time I was up in New Jersey. And then when I came home, I put it in the box because I do a lot of work on the van, and I didn't want to ruin it. So, and emeralds are very soft, and they can get ruined easily. But then I'm going to launch us off into our trip to New Jersey. And it's a trip of legacy because we went to honor my uncle, who was very sick. He was sick for a long time. We just didn't realize it until like a week and a half before he passed away. And he was diagnosed with 3 different kinds of cancer. So they just basically made him comfortable and allowed the family to come see him before he passed. And I went on the trip with my mom because I had guests at my Airbnb, and I was going to be staying with my mom and dad anyway. So I wanted the opportunity to take a beautiful trip up to New Jersey with my mom. I hadn't been there since my son was a baby. So I had the opportunity to connect with some family that I hadn't seen for a long time. And I'm going to go into a next section where we're going to stop for lunch. So you're going to see that. Hey y'all, I just wanted to show you where we're eating lunch at. This is a cute little town, Winchester, Virginia. Just cute little section of town here. I'm here with Mom. Hey Mom. We're taking a time out to get some lunch. We're gonna eat water. When in New Jersey, we do as New Jersey people do. We are going to get bagels because there's the best bagels in the world in New Jersey. And we're right now in New Jersey, near Lake Pacon, and we're going to go to Bagels on the Hill, and I'll show you that place in just a second. So this is Bagels on the Hill. This is a primo bagel spot. You'll want to check it out. Our trip is not just about food, but we wanted to just highlight this place because it's so good. You can tell this place has been in business for a while. It's a real legacy because they have been in business for 30 years. They not only had everything bagels in large bagels, but they had them in small bagels too. And they served us like we were family. We came in 3 days in a row, and each day they treated us kindly. And we really enjoyed the food. My mom had a Black Forest ham and cream cheese, and I had some salmon, lox, and cream cheese, and it was wonderful. About this trip is we got to see the leaves just showing off their splendor while we were up in New Jersey. We were up in New Jersey at the peak time of fall, so we got to see a lot of beautiful leaves on the trip, and so that's what we're showing you and featuring here. We were on our way to go meet my aunt and uncle, my mom's other brother, Uncle Bob and Aunt Brenda, and we were going to have lunch with them and then go over see my Uncle Nuell, who was the one who was sick and in hospice. Uncle Nuell is my mom's older brother, and he's 90 years old, or he was 90 years old when he passed away. And I love these old tunnels too. They're so pretty. And it's just a beautiful time of year to be up north and see the trees changing. And you're going to see in a moment here, you'll get to meet Uncle Bob and Aunt Brenda and my mom and I after we had had lunch together and celebrated my mom's 84th birthday a day early. And we were actually at the hospice at this picture. And then next day we were of course, went by the bagel place, and then we went to my cousin's house. And he lives on the lake. He built this house, or I don't remember if he built it or bought it, but it's on the lake that I grew up on. I spent most of my summers at this lake. I had so many great memories, and I just had a chance to see it again. It was wonderful. And of course, we're going to get a little bit more of the leaves and some of the houses and stuff that we saw along the journey. This is a cute little church that we saw along the way. And then there's this beautiful house with the ivy. This reminded me of England and Ireland and all that because of the ivy growing up. And then, of course, after a long day, we had an Irish dinner for my Irish mom at this Irish pub. And we were really blessed on this trip. Hey everybody.
Hi.
We're here at the York Eastern Market. We're going to show you what it looks like. This is one of my favorite memories from when I was married to my husband. It's the York Market with such beautiful produce and food and good food. It's a wonderful place to visit. Every Friday they have this market open, and I absolutely love it. I mean, just look at this produce. It's so beautiful. Look at all that.
The cabbage.
Yeah, the cabbage, fresh cabbage, fresh broccoli, fresh cauliflower. All this is beautiful produce, and they put it out every week, and it's just a wonderful place to visit. After the market, we had a chance to reconnect with my husband's brother's wife in York, Pennsylvania, on our way home from the trip. Then after we returned home, my uncle finally said goodbye to this world with his best friend, and we now we have lost a good man, but he was one of the great influences in my life. He's the only person that ever took me hunting, and I really enjoyed that hunt with him. And I got to share that memory with him and tell him how much it meant to me. And goodbye, Uncle Nuell. We love you. We know you're up in heaven with the rest of them. Tell him we all miss him. So now we get on with the bus, and I'm back in North Carolina. And when I got back, I got started with a bang, and we got up. I got kind of acrobatic. I got acrobatic, and I was getting ready to work on the front cab area. And before I could really get that cab area going, I had to change out the lights that were up there because the lights were just old and ugly, and I'm not a fan of amber lights. So I had an option to change them out into these beautiful new white lights, and I absolutely love them. I get pretty acrobatic here, and I start climbing across the thing. So don't worry, I did very carefully do it, and I had a ladder, a good sturdy ladder to work with. And this is what happened on the inside while I was working on the outside. I had two cameras going, and it was really nice to be able to have that. I'm not getting fancy enough to where I can actually switch back and forth between the cameras yet, because it takes me a long time just to edit these videos without switching back and forth. But now you're seeing me both the inside and the outside shots of what I was doing. And in this one of these videos coming up, you're going to watch the lights just pop, pop, pop off the top of the ceiling. You can see one sitting on the hood there, and you're going to watch them pop off as I go down on the inside and take them off on the inside and just kick them up. I went through first, took all the screws off. Now I'm taking the lights and disconnecting them from the wires and popping the lights off, and you can see them falling down off the roof now. and there was 5 lights, and it went pretty smoothly. In the next scene coming up, I'm going to be working on cutting up some what you call Eternabond tape. And it's basically just a big sheet of butyl tape, but it is really great for sealing roofs and things on roofs. And I kind of jumped the gun a little bit, but this is me working on the outside now of the inside shot. And you'll see me going with the drill and mounting the lights on. And in the next shot, you're going to see me working with the butyl tape. This is when I was mounting the underneath view of what you're going to see in the next shot. And you'll see me take the butyl tape and at least I hope I have that on here. I had an up close. Yeah, this is it. This is where I'm cutting the butyl tape in the shape of the lights. And I cut those out so that I would have a way to seal the old holes and make it waterproof. And then I just popped a new hole for the wires to go down, and then I sealed them with caulk, which you'll see later. And this was kind of an involved process, but it went really well. And I was really happy with the whole progress with it. I did have a little bit of difficulty, and you'll see on the next shot, when I was actually mounting the lights, the new lights. Some of the screws didn't grab on because of the old holes. And so what I ended up doing was putting a bolt and a nut in there so that it could pull it down and make it tight. So on the backs of the lights, on some, because the curve of the roof was so much, I just had it bolted it and put a bolt and a nut in the back of the lights, and that really secured them down strong. So you see I put down the Eternabond tape first, then I put on the rubber seal, then I mount the lights, then I put the screws in, and we just repeat that process for each one of these. And it really went pretty quickly and easily, except for that challenge I had with those screws in the back. And it didn't happen on all of them, just 1 or 2 of them was not holding well, so I wanted that reassurance that it was going to hold well. And of course I scraped off all the old caulking and stuff from it before that was there before I put the tape down. And when you put that Eternabond tape on, you want to make sure that you kind of rub it on there real tight. I used the back of my scraping knife to just kind of give it a good seal. On this one here, this is one of the ones I had the problem with the back. You could see it's kind of popped up a little bit. And I basically, like I said, I found a bolt and a nut that would fit it. And then I put the bolt on the top and the nut on the bottom. And we just got it to work. And here we're now going through and caulking all of them. Once I had them all mounted, I went through and did the caulking on all of them because I wanted to make sure there was like a triple seal. And I may go back and put some lap sealant around these, but if they're not leaking, I'm going to leave it well enough alone and just be happy with the seals that I have between the Eternabond tape and the caulk. I think we'll have a good seal. But right now, it has not rained much here, so I haven't been able to really test that out just yet. But I am always looking for leaks. I have fought the leaks on this bus. I have one leak in the back corner of the bus where I did not finish sealing the back edge of the top seam. And I'm going to go do that because I finally got some more lap sealant, and I'm going to go ahead and finish that out. Probably in the next day or 2 I'll do that. But you got to have the temperatures be the right temperatures to be able to have that stuff to really seal well. It helps to have a good warm day. And this next week we're going to have some warm days, and that's another reason I haven't finished the doors, because the temperatures have dropped. And so while you're watching me wire in the lights, I'm going to tell you about the doors. The doors I'm hopefully going to be able to start working on next week, because it'll be in the 70s, and I need it to be at least 70 degrees outside to be able to cure the epoxy that I want to put on the doors. So that's part of why I've delayed putting the doors together the rest of the way, is because I needed to have that epoxy at the right temperature. And here I'm wiring in each of the wires. Now, color coding on this bus is kind of guesswork because they didn't use a standard color code. You know, I would use a red wire and a black wire, but they used a white wire and a black wire, and I had to figure out which one was the positive and which one was the negative. And the first time I wired them in, it was not the way it should be, and I ended up going back with my 12-volt meter and finding out which was the right wire, and then I just switched them around. And what I did is I used these I'm going to give a shout out to Our Way to Rome YouTube channel. They had these little connectors. They're called Waco connectors, and I'll put them in my link in my video. But these little connectors are really awesome, and it made it super easy to, if I had to change anything in the wiring, it made it super easy for me to just rewire them quickly. But you also have to watch out because the little levers on them can pop up, so it's probably good after you wire them in and you have them set to go back and put a little electrical tape around them to seal it and make sure that they don't undo. Then I started working on, excuse me. Here you can see the lights are finished. This is a daytime shot, and they're really kind of not as bright as you would think in the daytime, but you don't need them in the daytime as much as you need them at night or in the rain. And this is the nighttime shot, so they're super bright and they're really awesome, and I absolutely love them. I am going to probably mount a light bar on either the top of that area, or I'm going to put it down on the bumper area. But I want to have a light bar on this too, so that will be in the future. This is me finishing up the wiring, making sure the wires are up and out of the way and neat and ordered, so that I can actually start building shelves and prepping the surface. So I go in and I actually first come in here and I clean out this whole section. I think I'm looking for cleaning tools right here. I should have cut this section out because I don't like to have a lot of blank space. But yeah, I'm getting cleaning and paint, and I got some cleaning supplies. I wiped down. First I vacuumed, then I wiped down everything as best I could to kind of degrease it. And then I put some flat white spray paint on it, and that's how I treated this. I also got a fan for ventilation and wore the proper safety gear while painting because we don't want to breathe in those fumes. Although I think I was wearing the dust mask at that time and not the fume mask. So I have two different masks. One's for when I'm painting, and that's the correct mask for wearing painting. It has for fumes, and the other one is for dust only, dust and dirt. And there I was taking some measurements to try and figure out this cabinet. Now this cabinet was a bear for me. It was my first cabinet to build, and I had to pick probably the hardest cabinet to start out with, and I took all my measurements, and then after I got all the measurements down, I got some soundproofing and actually laid that in first. That's why I prepped the surface, because I knew I was going to be putting the soundproofing in that section. That section is really, really hollow without the soundproofing, and this soundproofing really made a difference. And I'm glad I did it. I probably did a lot of overkill on it. I put a lot of soundproofing in this section, but I just wanted to be sure that it was good and solid. And I know that I'm sure you'll comment in the belows that I put too much up there, but I really wanted this soundproofed because it's pretty noisy in the bus when I'm driving, and the more noise I can get rid of, the better. So now we're back to working on the cabinet and measuring things, measure twice, cut once, so that I'm measuring again just to make sure I have all the right measurements. And then we'll proceed with actually building this cabinet, which it was a challenge. Like I said, there was a lot of funky angles, but I have optimized that space so well at this point, and I'm really happy with the result that I had with it. And you'll see me change the camera angle here in a little bit because I wanted you to have a better view of what I was doing. First, I'm going to show you a couple shots of me cutting the lumber with my miter saw, and because I measured a whole bunch of pieces, I cut them out to start with, and then I laid them out after I cut them out, and that's what I'm doing there. I used my Kreg jig for the first time, and it was a learning process using the Kreg jig. When you're using the 1x2s, it's a little bit more challenging to work with, and I'm sorry about this camera angle here. I didn't have a great shot, but I'm cutting things on angles and trying to work in two spots, so I realized I didn't have the camera up there, so I set it up so y'all could see. And that's my biggest challenge with being the only person videotaping everything, I'm trying to figure out creative ways to get you better angles and better shots as far as the camera is concerned. I am only one person, so there's only so much I can do. Here you're seeing me put together the shelves. I've gotten the bottom shelf on, and I'm working on putting the top shelf together. I'm mounting some brackets there for to have a shelf on. And what I do at first is I tried to conserve some lumber. I'm trying to do the best I can to have the least amount of scrap that I have, utilize everything I have in the best way possible. Like even with the insulation, which you see I put up behind these shelves before I actually installed them, is I'm trying to use every little last piece I can. And right here I was trying to use 2 pieces of scrap wood that I had that was the birch that I wanted to use for the shelf. And I'm building it like this because I wanted to save as much weight as possible. If I build it out of plywood, it's a lot heavier. Out of like the 1/2 inch plywood or 3/4 inch plywood, it's a lot heavier than this little structure here. This is a lot more lightweight, and I'm trying to save weight wherever possible. So this small birch is good and it's strong enough. I just have to put the supports in. And so I had a big support in the back, and I ended up taking that out because the bottom support of the shelf was providing the support I needed for a back shelf. So it was just redundant to have 2 supports back there. So I went ahead and made a back support that worked for that, and I mounted that. And I got to use the Craig jig, which was a little tricky in these crazy angles that I had going on here. So I just continued to build that in, and then after I got that all done, I put the facing board on. And then after I put the facing board on, I will put a support in the middle to support the middle part of the shelf. Now I'm not planning on putting a lot of heavy stuff in here. I'm going to kind of keep it lightweight, but there's always something that's going to go in here that will need to have the support, and I don't want to put super heavy things in, but I also want to have the proper support. The heaviest stuff will go on the bottom shelf, and the lighter weight stuff will go on the top shelf, and that's how I'll deal with it. When I was in the Air Force, I learned how to do Loadmaster, which was learning how to balance the weight on things and how to properly load a truck. I mean, they taught me the skills of knowing how to balance your load in a vehicle, and the importance of having it not just in a vehicle but in an airplane as well. So when you have a load in a vehicle, you're going to want to balance that load. Like, so if you have like a 45-gallon tank on one side, you need to have a balance of that weight on the other side. So you don't want your vehicle tipping over. So you can see me putting the supports in, and that's a good strong shelf now. And I'll just go ahead and put a few brad nails in there to finish it off. And then you'll get to see the end product. And I'm really happy with the results. And I was able to I painted the back, but I may end up putting some wood back there later on. And now you can see that I put all my paint and caulk in there for right now. And it's a great place to organize all that stuff. Hey y'all, thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. And I stand here in front of these doors that are a new legacy for Adventura, a new beginning for her. And unfortunately, we had to say goodbye to my dear uncle on this journey. But we thank you for coming and joining us on this journey, as Adventura's got some new things, some new upgrades, and she's starting her new journey toward being all she can be. And I thank you that you have taken the time to watch this all the way to the end. Don't forget to take time to like, subscribe, and share this video with people you know that are on a journey similar to this. It is always exciting for me to meet new people on my journey, and I have been meeting so many new people at my Airbnb, and I'm thankful that the guests, they see Adventura and they see what I'm doing here, and then they want to be a part of this journey too. So if you know somebody who wants to be a part of the journey, take the time to do that. And I thank y'all for coming. Y'all come back now. Thank you all for taking time to stop by. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Y'all come back now.
Some things are not the same as they were a year ago.